Carl and Damon here from games Brrraains A Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial for short. And it's episode 18 of They Made What into a TV series, Donkey Kong Country. We're staring down the barrel, the pun, of season 1. This is Kung Fu, written by Nadine van der Velde. Don't care for this episode, if I'm honest.
You go from a great episode to a very poor episode, yeah.
Yeah, what are you going to do? It's Donkey Kong Country. It's still only 20-odd minutes. It's not too bad to get through. We begin seeing the shadow of an unknown ape doing some karate and slashing a picture of DK. And I was like, yes! We're going to get murder in this one. We're not. Cut to Cranky, who has worked out when an eclipse is due. Candy and Diddy are there, and Diddy notices that the eclipse will occur at the same time as the annual Donkey Kong Challenge. What?
Never heard of this before.
Well, this is an annual challenge to keep Donkey Kong on his toes. Anyone can challenge him, and DK has to win. But apparently, according to Donkey Kong, no one ever has the guts, basically, to challenge him. What? Why? There are other ways to keep him on his toes. Yep. Why even put this at risk?
Exactly.
It's Cranky's nonsense again. I swear that ape is bored.
Because what happens if he gets hurt or killed or something?
What if he loses?
Exactly.
Absolutely. But DK, having never been challenged, has been letting his training go. And we see the ape eating a lot of bananas. Diddy arrives and mocks him for eating so many. DK is about to beat his record for eating bananas, which he does. Okay. And DK says, look, I'm not bothering to train because no one ever challenges me. In K. Rool's lair, the lights are off and Crusher is trying to fix it. He does seem to fix it, and K. Rool announces that he's given up his quest to get the coconut. What?
Shocker.
Instead, though, instead of stealing it, he's going to make them give it to him by winning the annual DK challenge. And I was like, that's just the same thing.
The same thing, exactly.
You're just still trying to get it. But he's not entering. Instead, he has Kung Fu, who is a professional kung fu fighter voiced by Richard Newman. I couldn't tell. I wasn't sure. I thought I might be just being looking for it here, but it was like kung fu.
Yeah.
Is it? I mean, visually, it's just an ape, so I think I might be stretching here. But you know, just like you hear it and you're like,
yeah, yeah. And I'm pretty sure that they never mentioned about there being a reward. That you can demand.
Yeah, that wasn't mentioned. Yeah. You are right. You're absolutely right. But we are introduced to Kung Fu as he sings a disco tune called I'm the Kung Fu Master. It's awful. Awful. And K. Rool thinks his plan is foolproof. Right. Guess how this turns out, people. Spoilers.
Yep.
DK arrives at Cranky's and is in pain after eating so many bananas. And Cranky is annoyed that he hasn't been training. Again, DK says no one would challenge him. But, surprise, surprise, here's Kung Fu arriving with K. Rool. Cranky checks the rules. Who made these rules? Didn't you?
It is ridiculous.
And finds that it's a best out of 3 challenge. A contest of the body, the contest of the mind, and the contest of the heart. It is agreed that Candy will help DK with the heart, Cranky with the mind, and Diddy with the body. But their work is going to be cut out for them, though. Yeah. I don't know. This is such a messy episode with this competition and the rules and who made it.
Yeah, there's loads of things. I mean, Cranky's supposed to be Donkey Kong's mentor, surely.
I guess, yeah. And he's like the elder ape, ain't he?
Yeah, so he's going to be training and preparing him for this leadership role or whatever, but he just lets him eat and do nothing. And
even if it was a matter of the fact that they were like Inka Dinka Doo sets these challenges. Right? Because he's the one that set all this up, apparently. To say that, to say it in a line.
Yep.
I'd still be like, how? And why? But, you know, I'd buy that more than just it exists.
Inka Dinka Doo does the challenges to test who's the strongest warrior.
Yeah, maybe even that. Yeah, even that. Yeah, Mortal Kombat.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah.
In K. Rool's lair, the lizard has forced Clump and Crusher to help Kung Fu with his training, and you do get the impression that DK's got his work cut out from here. Diddy and DK are training his body, and it looks like he's doing well, but DK has been lifting an empty barrel. Ha ha ha. They figure, though, he might be able to win the contest of the mind somehow. Kung Fu is doing his training for the mind, and K. Rool asks him a riddle that he easily answers because he wrote it. Okay, it's not really that clever.
Yeah.
We then see Cranky doing the same with DK, who immediately gives up when he doesn't know the answer. Cranky shouts at him, and DK tries to think of an answer, but simply can't. So he's not going to win the mind either.
Nope.
We then cut back to Kung Fu teaching the lizards about static, much to K. Rool's joy. he will easily win the contest of the mind, but they all agree he won't be able to beat DK with the contest of the heart. The problem for that is like, well, define what you mean by contest of the heart. Is it love related, and how does that get measured?
Yeah, because I mean, not being funny, Candy's a bit of a.
Don't be mean.
Well, she's
Don't
not,
be mean about Candy.
she's not exactly into him, is she? I don't.
It seems to go up and down, really. Yeah.
She seems to be with him because he's Donkey Kong and he's going to be the leader. So she knows that she'll be queen, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, yeah. K. Rool, though, comes up with the idea, a clever idea, of Kung Fu donating a coconut to K. Rool out of the goodness of his heart. The heart stuff. I was like, that's not terrible, you know?
Not bad, yeah.
Yeah. The only thing that bugged me was like, all right, you haven't set the parameters of the competition. Is it best 2 out of 3?
True.
Well, it must be, right? If there's 3, you must have to win 2. And I was like, well, if DK can't win body or mind, then he's lost already.
Yeah.
Forget the heart one, it doesn't matter. But it seemed to be implying you have to win all 3. And if you don't win all 3, like if you only win 1 out of 3, Donkey Kong wins by default or something. Or even if you win 2 out of 3, should I say, and Donkey Kong wins 1,
then
you didn't beat Donkey Kong.
Yeah, is there a replay or something?
No, that's what it seems to imply. Anyway, DK is with Candy now and feeling like he's let everyone down. Candy tries to cheer him up and sings him a pop ballad called Don't Lose Heart. It turns into a bigger ballad that Cranky and Diddy overhear. Hurt by DK's words, Cranky seems to soften and Candy wonders if they can do anything. And we see that Diddy might have an idea. So they're a bit worried about DK now, which I didn't mind. It was nice. At K. Rool's lair, he is the Master's troops and announces that Kung Fu will be taking over the role of general and will be K. Rool's new bodyguard. Crusher tries to argue that K. Rool needs 2, but Diddy strolls in. Not Crusher, Clunk. Yeah, because Crusher doesn't do arguments. At least making the point, as Diddy strolls in, that they probably should have someone guarding the front door, because everybody just walks in. Diddy tries to talk up DK and says if they withdraw, he'll leave them alone. They just laugh at him though, so Diddy tries to get them to postpone the challenge for a year, which basically they laugh at again. And I'm screaming at the TV. Why even go through this challenge? Didn't we do this before with the dance competition?
Pretty much, yeah.
Stop making these fucking hurdles for yourself.
Yeah, it seems to be like a repeat thing.
Yep.
But then if I'm K. Rool, well, they're too busy doing the little battles, sneak in, take the coconut, and kill everyone.
Yeah, that's the important part, because we've seen him take the coconut before, it doesn't get anywhere. But kill everyone, yeah.
Use it can do whatever it wants, fucking kill him.
Yeah, just kill him. Yeah, I agree. Kung Fu then starts to threaten Diddy with what he's going to do to DK when the electricity fails, knocking out the lights. And we see that Kung Fu is afraid of the dark. And like, you know when you get those moments where everything just clicks?
Yep.
I was like, there's a fucking eclipse coming.
Of course.
Of course. In the dark, Diddy leaves, and when the lights come back on, Kung Fu blames the whimpering noises on Clump, who gets very defensive, calls him a liar. At DK's hut, Diddy reveals to DK that it's a plan, but we fade away before we hear it, so we're not hearing the plan yet. And it does involve Cranky and Candy stalling the contest, though. We then cut to the beach, where K. Rool and Kung Fu are watching Candy and Cranky dancing. That really awkward dancing.
Yeah.
K. Rool realises that they're stalling, even if Clump and Crusher are at least enjoying the dance. So that's good for them. K. Rool demands that the contest start and points out that they will win by default if DK doesn't show. I'm like,
I agree. He's right for me.
Why though? Why? Where's the parameters for time, date, and all of that?
That also we have no idea about it anyway, so that hasn't been explained.
Yeah.
So.
If DK is an hour late, who set the time? What difference does it make? But it now turns out that Diddy didn't even tell DK the rest of the plan and hasn't worked it out himself. And I'm like, the fuck? What are you doing? Yeah. And my reaction mirrored DK's reaction as he stands up revealing himself to everyone. All the apes are confused by Diddy's plan, but he just keeps insisting that it's stall. I'm like, you either have a plan or you don't have a plan.
Exactly.
Cranky calls for the first part of the challenge to be the contest of the mind. K. Rool isn't happy about this, but it goes ahead anyway, and DK is easily defeated by the question of how many pieces of string would it take to reach the moon. It is, of course, a trick question, as the answer is simply one.
Yeah, one.
It's just about how long that piece of string
exactly,
is.
Yeah.
It's a riddle. Diddy continues to insist that they stall to avoid the contest of the body, but K. Rool demands that he choose the next part of the contest and chooses the body. DK is picked up and smashed around by Kung Fu straight away. Diddy tells him to just try and hold on, but DK is just simply getting his ass kicked. Kung Fu goes to finish him off, but Diddy's plan finally kicks in as the eclipse hits. And everybody sees that Kung Fu is afraid of the dark. K. Rool even calls him a sissy. And everyone laughs at him. I was like, that's unnecessarily mean. If imagine you're a kid who's watching this and you have a little bit of fear of the dark, you'd probably feel a bit shitty after this one.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
DK is about to attack him, but DK can't bring himself to hit a downed ape. And this gives DK the win of the heart portion. Yeah. The eclipse ends and DK realizes that he now has to continue the fight. However, the lizards laughing at Kung Fu has annoyed the ape and he turns his attention to them, forfeiting the competition and leaving. So that implies a best of 3. DK now wins 2. DK wins, the apes celebrate, and K. Rool is angry and they head back to the lair. Oh no! Maybe while they're celebrating, go steal the coconut.
Exactly.
Or while they're celebrating, kill them.
Exactly.
Cranky tells DK that he hoped he learned the importance of keeping in shape, and DK says that it will start training tomorrow. Today, though, it's all about breaking his banana eating record. Everybody laughs. The episode ends. Yeah, this was crap.
Yep.
This was crap. Kung Fu's introduced. We won't see Kung Fu in this season again.
Nope.
Wasn't that interesting? The plot point felt very convenient. The whole basically, I've noticed we're not a fan of when they introduced some random competition or event that seems to make it harder for them to do what they need to do.
Yeah.
And it's like, why have you introduced that?
I mean, it's pretty much. I mean, obviously, us being adults, we get it. But obviously, as a child, they wouldn't. But I mean, if every episode, I can remember at least.
Yeah.
That basically, they at the start of the episode is like, okay, so they basically tell you the entire plot was going to happen.
Yeah.
And it's so obvious, but like the tooth one, it was so obvious what was going to happen with the tooth thing, or like this scared of the dark in the eclipse. It's like straight away we can get a rough idea. We know what's going to happen.
Yeah, we know you've created something new, a plot point that's gonna be used. I will admit there are times when it's impossible to know. Like for example, although the eclipse part was relevant, we could never have known, and I certainly didn't know how that was going to play into the Kung Fu thing.
Of course not.
So I'll give them credit for that. I can see youngsters being quite amused by Kung Fu's reaction to the dark and stuff like that. So I can get the entertainment value, but coming off the back of the Legend of Crystal Coconut to this one, this felt like a down, like a dip in quality. Where I was just kind of like, okay, that was a thing. Yeah.
And it was written by a different writer too, so.
Yeah, well, it's Nadine van der Velde. She's done a lot of them.
Yeah.
We haven't been paying enough attention, maybe, to who's writing what are the better episodes
ones,
and stuff like that. We may, at the end of season 1... No, we'll do it at the end of season 1 and 2. Do a tier list of every episode and sort of see what we thought was the best episode overall. But I think we'll wait to the end of season 2 because season 2 is only 14 episodes long. So it won't take as long as this season has done. So we'll probably have it midway through 2023.
Yeah.
But for now, this is Kung Fu, episode 18. You got any thoughts on it? You know what to do? Let us know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked what you saw, please help us out by giving us a thumbs up and hitting that subscribe button. If you really liked what you saw, consider donating to keep the website and channel running by buying us a coffee via our coffee page or picking up some merch from our Big Cartel store. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as via our social media, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, as well as listen to our interviews via SoundCloud, Apple Music and Spotify. Just search for GBHBL. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?